And welcome back everyone to the Rampage MX channel. Hope everything an awesome day, whatever day you are watching this. And welcome back to OTB Tournament Recaps, round number 3. Technically 2, because I took a bye round 1, so I'm currently on 1 out of 2. Let's jump into it. I hope everyone's having an awesome day. And yeah, this round I was paired against someone called Will. He's National Master. He got that a while ago in 2024, and I was looking forward to this pairing and also not, because he came off with a very good Nationals on the late last year. So I wasn't very expecting on what to think. And we played actually once and we drew that game. I opened with e4 because I'm white, and he played c5, and I was like, okay, well, who would have guessed? I was like, okay, well, we're gonna get a Sicilian battle, knight f3, e6. So I was like, okay, we'll get a time on it. Now I was thinking actually before the game whether I want to play this and experiment a little. Knight c3, knight c6. Generally not my main opening, but I wanted to see what he would prepare. Maybe the Tamana, maybe the 4 knights. He played c3. I'm sorry, I played c3, d5 takes, and here he took with the pawn, which is a bit more, nowadays it's not as common. I played d4, knight c6, and I played bishop b5. So I attack his knight with my bishop. I'm going to castle very quickly. Bishop d6, still a theory, and here what I'm actually supposed to do is to take the pawn on c5. You might ask, why would you take it? You have a very good pawn on d4. Theory nowadays is actually insane, and it's just because of one minute detail. Black here is has a hard time developing. He doesn't want to play knight f6 because then he doesn't actually have a reinforcement for this knight, a reinforcement for that knight. Once he plays bishop d6, when I take and he takes, I get the isolated pawn, and he's moved his bishop twice. So technically, I get an extra move. And right now, here, when I play knight d2 and knight b3, I'm hitting the bishop also with tempo, and I'm going to the d4 square. So I'm having a very, very nice position. So I castle, I didn't know that, and he played 97, and I was already sensing some uncomfortableness because now I can't ever take if I want to bail out, because now he takes with the knight, and now my position is just terrible because I gave away the bishop pair, and once I give away the bishop pair, I have to have some kind of reason as to why I should do that. Now I might play rook e1, then bishop e6, maybe knight g5, but it gets very dicey because actually here, he can actually threaten to go alongside castle, then he can launch these pawns at my king. I don't have much safety here. So after knight f97, I play rook e1, castles, and I lose all my advantage. Because now dc5 is not as good, because even though I move the bishop, make the bishop move multiple times, he's hitting f2, and now my rook on f4 is not there to support it, so queen b6 is very strong, which double attacks my bishop, and it double attacks my pawn, or it hits my pawn, rather. I play h3. And it's kind of a waiting move. I also don't want bishop g4 to come, because then d4 will be super weak. And here is kind of the real moment. Where does black achieve his equality? Does he want to play queen b6, which hits my bishop, which I thought was a very strong move in the game? It's apparently not as strong than what he played in the game. Does he want to play bishop b6? I thought that was an awesome, also a decent move. But then I can play knight g5 and hit the bishop as well. And he settled on knight f5. And I was actually very annoyed when I came back to the board. I was like, wow, that's annoying, because now d4 is extremely weak, and I don't have many options to actually guard that pawn. I can play bishop e3, but if I play bishop e3, guarding this pawn, it looks nice, but takes, and again, rook e8, and this is a backwards pawn, so what we call a backwards pawn, when the square in front of it is controlled, and it cannot move there, and it's also a very weak pawn. And I gave away the bishop pair. So I have a lot of limitations to my position, and I don't have anything to show for it, really. So I have to think of a move that really tries to get rid of my problems, and I actually find it. I take about 20 minutes or 10 minutes here, and I play bishop d3. And this is a very important move here, and I think it was the best move of the opening to really achieve the equality, because my bishop on b5, I realized has been misplaced, and I don't want it there. So I'm moving the bishop back to d3. The point is actually that the trap, rather, is if he takes, queen c knight, move bishop, takes, I hit the pawn, and it's also a very weak pawn, rook d1, and I have a very, very, very comfortable position here. I gave away the bishop pair, But see, I actually get something in return. I get this weak d5 pawn. So I have some benefits to my position. And here he spent a long time to make his time equal, actually. And he spent probably 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, and he played a move that I kind of half expected, but I thought he would keep the tension, and he took on d4. And I took, and I was like, there's no way he's going to take. And then he played h6. And I was like, okay. Here's the thing. My problems are actually not that bad now. With the pawn on c5 pressuring my pawn, he always had queen b6 ideas to add more pressure to the pawn. Now that he's traded it, I actually can move my bishop back, and my queen voluntarily defends that pawn. So I have more defenders now, and potentially I can play knight c3 and get rid of this bishop so I can get this pawn, right? He plays h6, and now I play knight c3. It's actually very important to play this move knight c3. If you don't play knight c3, then d4 is seriously hanging. And I don't have the bishop h7 trick anymore because he played h6. So he's building on my ideas, and now bishop h7, now, I mean, it doesn't do much. Because now I'm down a pawn, actually, not equal material. I play knight c3. And he plays this move bishop c7. It's another very annoying move because I'm like, oh, I didn't see this idea where he goes here. He might threaten this battery, but my knight defends it. So I was like, what's the plan? Oh, he wants to rotate around. He wants to rotate around. Bishop on d6 doesn't do much. Once he gets it to b6, he's hitting my d4 pawn. Again, once we traded these pawns, the battle was for d5 and d4. This was a big battle. So if you don't win this, then you're not really fighting for the advantage. Bishop c7, and I find this nice move queen b3, and I hit this, and I make him choose. He cannot actually move the bishop because I take. But I was also considering this line where I take, and it's like, it's balanced. I have bishop b3, maybe he's knight f5, but then I take, and then I win d5, so maybe that's not what he wants to do. But then after bishop b3, I don't know where he will move with the knight. Maybe he'll go bishop b5, but then rook d1. It's a very fluid position, and I actually have good chances here because I can take, I can move back. d5 is super weak, so it's a lot of things to talk about. Maybe bishop h3 is on the cards if I take knight f3, and then I don't know, queen h4, and all of a sudden it could get so crazy. But I wasn't really expecting all of that. And he takes. And unfortunately, this is getting to a very drawish position. He plays bishop e6. I take, because here's the thing. I spent a bit of time here, and I was like, can I get ambitious with queen takes d6? The answer, I can't. And the reason I can't, actually, and I was actually really thinking about it, because I was thinking, wait, if he plays queen d6, I have g3, and he actually cannot take this pawn. And he can't take this pawn because I have bishop f4, and I launch with this g3 pawn. I give my bishop backup, so I skewer this queen and this bishop is what's called a skewer when a more important piece is in front of a less important piece. Otherwise, it's a pin. So then I was like, I have to move back, and then I take, and I guess not take with the bishop, but I would take with the queen, and he doesn't have any infiltration. Maybe he does, actually. I didn't really consider this option. But then I was like, if I play queen takes b7, he has rook b8. And I was like, okay, I can win another pawn, or I can play queen a6, but then, or not queen a6, I can win another pawn, but then he plays queen d6, and now he can play knight f3, because my queen on b7, very important, my queen on b7 doesn't actually control f3. This is why he couldn't play knight f3 here, in this position. This is what I had to calculate in my head, by the way. I'm just giving you guys my thought process, is that he can't actually play knight f3 because my queen's defending it. But I thought rook b is very dangerous, so I traded the queens, and I played rook d1. Rook d1 was a move that was very important, because if I don't play rook d1, if I play bishop e3, black has a move that is good because it's positionally very good. He can play knight to an impossible looking square f3. And if I take, he swoops in and takes this bishop. And now I again don't have the bishop pair. And my pawns are weakened, isolated, doubled, whatever you want to call it. And he's doubling on the d file. My position is extremely bad. And maybe Engie can hold this again, but I'm a human and I didn't really like this position. So I had to stop knight f3. Now here I was actually thinking of bishop e4. But then I thought, can you play f5 and then rook b8? Because now knight c2 is coming also, because I abandoned my e4 post. If I play bishop b1, this just looks really sad. That was literally my reasoning in the game. I was like, this looks very, very sad. Maybe bishop b6 to hit this pawn. I don't know. There's probably a lot of solutions that make my position look very bad. So I settled on rook d1, and here he played bishop f5, and I was like, why is he trading pieces? Because he's the attacker here. I took, and then I realized, oh, I don't have a good square for my bishop. Because if I have bishop b3, then takes, bishop b6, and all of a sudden black has winning chances because this e3 pawn is very, very weak. So I found a really nice move. I didn't spend very long on it. I just blitzed out what I think. I played rook d5, and I hit this knight. So now he has to make a decision, and I make him trade, which is what he does, so that I hit his bishop with tempi, and then maybe I can play bishop b3 now because my knight defends it. He put bishop b5, and I play bishop b3. And I'm like, okay, rook d8, rook d1. We've achieved kind of the climax, and here he puts king h7. By the way, if he plays, so here actually, this is a very important thing. Black has a winning concept, and this is the move bishop d4. Bishop d4 is a winning concept because if I take with the bishop, then he takes the knight, and I actually pinned, and I lose because with g4 he can actually take. Now, if I take with the rook, then he takes, and I take. So I don't actually get the 2 pieces for the rook. I just get 1 piece, and this is losing. Same thing if I check also. Then he puts king f8, not king h8, but he keeps king f8, and this is also defended. So I can't play either of those. So this is a winning thing because if I move my bishop back, then okay, knight e3 takes, and I lose my rook. So this is a very big combo. Now, this is what we had to calculate, both of us. When he plays bishop d4, I have one move that liberates my position, and it is an impossible looking move yet again, knight e7. Because once I distract his knight, I can actually take this bishop, and maybe he actually has some chances here because b5, b4, king f8, maybe f6, king f7, king e6, but I genuinely thought I could draw this. So I have this knight e7 trick. What he had to this is why he played king h7, because now I don't have this knight e7 trick, and if I try the same thing with knight f6, he can take back with the bishop, which defends the rook. So it doesn't work on e7 like it does on f6. So here I play a very drastic move. I play g4, because if he plays knight d4, trying for the same thing, well, you'll see, because this is what he played in the game, I can't take. Again, I can't take because this rook is pinned. If I take, he takes on d1, and I'm down in exchange. So knight d4, and here I play knight c3, the only move to defend the rook, knight f3, and here what I actually forgot about in the game was that I was going to play king g2, and I was expecting rook d1, knight d1, knight d1, knight e1, king f1, king d3, and then knight d3, and then b3, and then I can play king e2 safely. What I forgot is that after king g2, there's knight h4 check before he trades the rooks. And then my king has to go to f1, and now this knight has total control over my position. Rook c8 maybe. So I was like, oh, I'm going to out-trick, I'm going to play king f1. And this is actually a very important move because now I'm going to play king e2 and hit his knight, whereas with king g2, he has a safe spot on knight h4 because I can't move up because of this bishop. So I play king f1, rook d1, knight d1, b6, king g2. And here we actually both have 5 minutes. So we have 5 minutes to reach reach the 13 moves. So we have 5 minutes for 13 moves, both of us. So I'm not feeling awesome. We've seen some candidate stuff where time trouble is horrible for anyone that goes against Sindarov. Knight e1, king f1, knight d3, b3, king g6, king e2. Okay, 2 minutes for me, maybe 5 minutes for him. King e2, knight b4, f4. And here I've thrown an intermediate move before I play a4. I play f4, which forces the bishop back, and I play a4. So I want knight f2, and I want knight e4. And the reason I want this is because I want my pieces more active. And he plays f5. Now I have a very important here not to take, because if I take, then my f4 pawn is going to lose its stability. He's never going to get this. And if, by the way, this is the reason I keep the pawn here. If he takes, I always have taking back. I play knight f2, king f6, and here I play knight d3. He takes, I take, and I play g6. I mean, he plays g6. Now here I have 1 minute, okay? And I have 1 minute for 4 moves. I have 1 minute for 4 moves, and we get like 10 seconds bonus, I think. So it's not much time. And here I sense that a king and pawn endgame will be fine. So I play bishop d4, takes, king e6, king e4, a6. and I'm on my 40th move here. And I probably have like 15 seconds, and I have to figure this out. B4, hit the clock, I get up. B5, I see on the board. I come back to the board and I see B5. And now I have to calculate, and I realize this is a losing king and pawn endgame. I played such a good game. I neutralized this opening, this terrible opening, and I go into a losing king and pawn game. King e4, a6. B4, b5, I take, and I play king e3. And the reason this is losing is that if he doesn't play b5 and he plays h5, if I take f5, this is what I have to calculate in my head, of course. Actually, it's better if I show you with the pawns. Let's say it was his move. I don't know how I'm gonna get that. Yeah, let's say this is the position. H5 is the winning move here, because H5 is looks winning, right? Because if I take, this is what I have to calculate in my head. King f4, H4, here, take, here. He's winning by one move. Here. Not b3 because this is stalemate. King, where? Where would we put the king? c3. Because if king b1, then he gets the opposition. And if king a2, b3. Or no, did I draw this? That's... Oh wait, no, I think it's king b3. Wait, what is the winning move here? Wait. It's not b3. Wait. I think I messed this up. Wait, is it not here? b4 here. Here. Oh, yes, b3 here. And then king b1, b2. So this is just going to be losing. And I sat there at the board and I was crushed. Keep in mind here, we have this has been like a 4.5 hour game at this point. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I've played such a good game to lose, and I play king e3, and then I realize king e7. Oh, by the way, this wasn't the actual position. I had to rotate it a little bit. This is the position. I played h5. I just showed you this, right? This is a draw. I mean, this is losing. Because if I take, he takes. I sit there, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is not losing. And I spend a lot of the time when he was thinking, and I find the only move here, king f3. I guard this pawn, and the reason why this is not losing is that after king b5, king g3, king e4, I have the only move, f5! Unreal, because if he takes an gh, king e3, h6, and I run my pawn and I'm in time, I'm actually winning here. Or not winning here, I guess. But I get on time here. And this is all a queen endgame. And I'm like, wait a minute. He messed it up. He must have been winning. So he plays king d5. King g3, king e4, f5. And now he realizes that it's actually a draw. So he puts h4. Now h4 is an insane move, because if I take, this is still losing. Because boom, opposition. King c4, king on c2. Again, this is what I have to calculate every time we got this kind of king and pawn endgame. So h4, I take and I push my pawn forward. What I didn't realize is I made my job way harder, because I can actually just play king h3. Because after he takes, I play g5. He can't win the pawn race, because after f2 I go king g2, and then I queen. So he would have to go king e5, and then there I play king h4, and this is a way easier draw. But I didn't realize that, because the adrenaline of me thinking I was actually saving the position was crazy. So I took on h4, takes g5, f4, g6, f3, king g3. Now here is very important, because I have to calculate in my head. We have 20 minutes each. We burn 10 minutes. So here is a queen and pawn endgame where g7, f2, g8 queen, f1 queen. is this a better version, or is king on g3 a better version? What I thought about was, I thought that this is a worse version because I'm gonna get skewered, and also my king is farther away from this pawn. So I find this move king g3, and this is what he told me. He missed king g3 here. King e3, g7, f2, queen, queen. I have to find the only moves. I check on g5 because now I have access to d8. King e4, queen e7, and here I have one move. One move only. One move to save the game. And I find it. Queen c5. I have to stop his king from entering this rank and hit this pawn. And here he tries to grind me. We are the last game officially in the playing hall. Round 3, by the way. King d2. King h2. He has to try to force my queen off. Queen e3, king g2, king e2. He's trying to also set up a checkmate, by the way, if he gets close enough. And here, if I don't play queen f8 and I play queen c6 and I get careless, this is going to be mate. Queen h7, or not queen h7, I guess. There was some sort of mate, though. Queen e2, queen g2, yeah. Queen f8, king e2, queen c5. I have to repeat the position because I want this to be a draw. King f3, queen c6. And I find this queen c6 move because if I play queen f8, then this also works, but I thought king e4, and I don't have any easy checks here. Queen e8, then he's running. If he can get his king to c3, this is the configuration where black needs to win this game. Here, 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 queen c4, and then he wins b4. Once he wins b4, I can give up any hopes of drawing this. This might still be a draw, but this is really, really hard. Queen c6 check, because now he can't play queen e4 because queen b5, and he hits queen e4. Because if I take, it's mate. Queen here, 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 mate. You can't make this up. Queen c3. I have to find the only move again. Queen c3. King f4, queen f6, queen f5, queen d4, king f3, queen c3. Here, check. Here, check. Here, check. And he's trying to work his way around. He's trying to work his way because now we both have 10 minutes. Queen e6, queen f4. And he plays queen f5 because he wants a trade. And folks, after 5.5 hours, I trick him. King g3. And his face said it all, because now if he takes, it's opposition. So he can't do this. And now once he moves, I take and I oppose his king. And this, my friends, is a draw. Because king e5, king e3. And we shuffled here because, you know, it was hard. King e3 offered him a draw. And he took it. And an 80 move game, an 80 move marathon to survive. To survive. And honestly, like, this game kind of showed that I need to be alert, right? I found 3 only moves in that endgame, in that queen endgame. Queen c5 was the only move. Or sorry, queen g5. Queen g5 was not the only move, but it was a very key move. And then this queen e7, this maneuver drew me the game. I had to find this, and I found it pretty quickly, actually. I had to find this configuration because I have to find a way to defend my pawn on b4 and get quick access to any dark square checks. This maneuver made me draw. This queen endgame. And it was very important that I did, because queen f8 is also the only move here. So we get a draw in round 3, one of the most craziest games I have played, and hopefully, you know, I do get a bit of rating off this, and I'm very glad that I did hold that. It was not an easy hold, but I did get it done, and that's going to conclude it for this recap. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys soon. Until next time, this is Rampaging Rooks, and I'll see you guys next time.